This month's technical tip is on the malware threat. Malware. The computer is a great tool. It opens up a world of information and communication for us. But with any tool, we need to learn how to use it safely. Part of using a computer is learning how to use it safely. We need to protect our information on the computer. Many of us store valuable information on the computers. Think about it. We store personal identifiable information, also called PII. We store social security numbers, birthdays, account numbers, pictures of friends, family, and memorable events that are very private to us. We store usernames and passwords to various accounts that contain financial information, medical, or other personal information. We store documents such as tax returns, wills, deeds, trusts, mortgages. It's clear we have a lot of valuable information on our systems. In order to protect our information, we need to learn how to use the computer safely. We need to understand the threats that are in cyberspace and how we can protect our information from them. I'm sure many of us have heard about computer viruses. In fact, I bet many of us have caught computer viruses. Well, what is a computer virus? First off, virus isn't the best term. A better term and more accepted term in the computer industry is malware. Malware is a combination of terms. It's a combination of the terms malicious software. We take the mal out of malicious and the ware out of software. We put that together and we have malware. Malware is any computer software that's intended to disrupt your computer operations, gather sensitive information, or to gain access to private computer systems. Have you ever received an email or wound up at a website that suggested some tragic consequences if you didn't perform some action? Or did the email promise you money, gift certificates, or maybe a trip to Tahiti if you performed some action? It may have offered instructions or attachments claiming to protect you from a virus if you ran some scanning software that it provided. It may have had a statement urging you to forward the message, because one of the intents of that malware is to not just infect you, but to infect other people. And how better to get you to infect other people but by forwarding the email message. If you see an email message that has multiple forwards on it, that may be an indication that it's malware that's been forwarded to you. Have you ever seen a toolbar on your browser, Internet Explorer or Firefox or Google Chrome, and you wonder how it got there? Well, that could be malware as well. These are probably all examples of malware coming to you through email or from a website. Bottom line, stay away from this stuff, okay? Don't take the bait. Those are malware, and they're trying to do something bad to your information and hence to you. Where does malware come from? Fact is, there are many people and organizations that work very hard to get our information. These people are commonly known as hackers. Decades ago, a hacker was originally thought of as a person that wants to simply disrupt your computer operations just for the fun of it. It was often thought of as a teenager in their garage, just having fun. But the truth of the matter is, nowadays, hacking is really done by well-funded organizations that are working very hard to steal your personal identifiable information for financial gain. They want to get your credit card numbers, they want to get your passwords to banks, trading companies, and other fiduciaries. They may want to also steal trade secrets, customer lists, and other intellectual assets from various companies. And maybe the motivation for some hackers are to disrupt the infrastructure of a company, a municipality, or a nation. And for other hackers, they want to make a political statement. So perhaps they'll deface a website just to make that political statement. So some hackers are really well-funded criminal enterprises that seek to acquire this personal information for financial gain. The motivation for the hackers is broad, and the threat is real. By several estimates, the yearly losses to malware are in the billions, and that's billions with a B. And that number is growing every year rapidly. The threat is very, very real. So one of the first steps to facing the malware threat is to learn about the different types of malware. There are many very good websites that provide information of the different types of malware, including how each type of malware behaves, some strategies for how you can avoid getting infected by malware, and what to do if you do get infected with malware. Okay, malware can be classified by various attributes. I said earlier that we've probably tried calling malware viruses, but in fact, virus is just one type of malware. There's some very good websites that you can access that will help you learn about malware. And I encourage you all to read up about the different types of malware. One type of malware is called adware. And what adware is, and I'm sure we've all seen it when we're browsing, is we get these ads that pop up, and they pop up all the time. And we're wondering, why is this advertising this thing or that thing? And they become very annoying. Another type is called bots, and bots is short for robots. And what a robot is it actually infects your system and gets you to your system to participate in an attack on another system. And your system becomes under the control of what's called the robot controller. Another type of malware, strictly speaking, isn't malware, it's a bug. All these computer systems come out, they have bugs in them. We hope we can buy systems without bugs, but that really is not reality. Systems are very complex, consisting of millions and millions of lines of program code. Sometimes bugs can result in your data being leaked or corrupted. Sometimes bugs become paths that hackers can use to steal your information. We hope manufacturers can fix bugs before hackers find them, but in truth, hackers often find the bugs before the manufacturers do. Ransomware is another type of malware that's appeared of recent. And what ransomware does is it actually hijacks your system and effectively locks your system up until you pay a ransom. And that ransom is usually in the form of some credit card payment, as you can well imagine. Spyware, another form of malware, is a little bit insidious. Spyware eavesdrops on your information. It's very difficult to detect, and it's very stealth-like. The idea of spyware is to try to record where you browse, the types of things you browse for, and even worse, spyware can start capturing your keystrokes. And if the keystrokes that it's capturing happens to be your account numbers, passwords, and these are being captured unbeknownst to you, that could have some devastating effects. Viruses are a particular type of malware, and that's why we don't like to call everything everything viruses, rather. Viruses infect systems by attaching themselves to documents or programs, and they spread by you, the user, taking some action, perhaps forwarding an email, sending a link to a website, that's already infected. A worm is a type of malware that spreads from machine to machine to machine with no action taken by the user. So once it gets on your machine, it'll start worming its way out to other machines that have various vulnerabilities that the worm can exploit. So these are just a small sample of the types of threats that we are confronted with. It's important that we all learn about these threats so we can defend ourselves. How do you know that you are infected? Generally, you will know you're infected when your computer starts behaving pretty strangely. Your system might slow down, it might freeze, it might take you to web pages that you did not want to go to. You may have ads and messages popping up. It may be displaying odd screens, and it may be giving you the blue screen of death. It may just crash. Okay, so those are all signs that you could be infected. Some good defense strategies to develop are safe email habits, safe browsing habits. It's very important to keep your system patched. And then, of course, we also need to run malware protection software. In future shows, we're going to talk more about how we develop these defenses so we are prepared for the malware threat. But first, you need to learn about the threat. And that was the intent of this show. And I hope that this will get you to research a little more, learn more about the malware threat. I look forward to seeing you next month, and we'll be talking about some of these defenses.